Reset. Okay. What's up, y'all? Good morning. It's October again, and we dealing with mental health like never before. So here we go again with another wellness check. Just drop it in the comments. It don't have to be nothing too extra. Just be a simple little emoji with a thumbs up. Let me know you good. If you're not, y'all know I don't mind reading. You could drop a whole passage down there. I'ma read it. I told y'all it's beef season. And ever since then, there's been all kind of wars. There's been gender wars, relationship wars, pod wars, and actual wars. So Israel, Palestine, that's a rough one. I don't even want to get into that because we don't want to do the political thing. But wow, it's crazy out here. First, the Power Wars, that's one that's been kind of interesting to me just because not even so much about the wars, but I've been noticing like the content creator space is like full of insecurities. And you see it from on the small scale, you see the people up and coming, they still trying to figure some things out. Um while they're trying to figure it out, it's like they voice their insecurities. We're trying to get people to engage with the content, trying to get them to follow, trying to get them to share and, just give them a reason to keep going because that insecurity is so real. I was looking at this girl. She was just so frustrated because, she was like, I'm putting all of this time and effort into it. I'm making high quality content and I can't get people to share it. I can't get people to like it. And it's like, I guess quality is like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. There might be a little something to that because I noticed like the stuff that people engage with the most is like not the highest quality content. You get some pretty good conversations out of it, but it's not like it's not like groundbreaking or any kind of in-depth analysis, or it's not changing the world. Most of the time they're talking about hot topics, what's going on in the lives of celebrities, the latest viral moment, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, that's cool. It's cool to talk about. And honestly, I see that's what people engage with the most. You could be doing like a real service for people and nobody cares. That's like if I drop a wellness center in the middle of the city and I put it next to a club, like which one do you think people will patronize more? One is actually doing a helpful service for the community, and the other one is just entertainment. But we know the difference in attendance. We don't have to do a whole lot of work in figuring that out. People are gonna be more interested in the club because it's easy. I don't think it's really too many people are that willing to put in the work because that takes a whole lot of effort when you could just go and get your mind off of everything that's going on. 'Cause I know it's hard out here. There's a lot that's been going on, and not just my life, but the lives of people around me. And I know that extends to the world. It's a lot going on right now. It's kind of hard to stay focused when it's so easy to be distracted by every piece of news that's thrown your way. So I get it. Um, I would be lying if I didn't say I didn't have certain insecurities myself, because you might find yourself at a crossroads where, do I continue to do the content that's meaningful to me and I would think would be meaningful to other people? Or do I switch it up and I do something that's going to be more entertaining and something that's going to bring in the views? You know, I would feel a certain way about myself, but again, it would be a lie if I didn't say I didn't think about it. I really like the space that I'm in because I feel like what I'm doing has purpose to it. I'm talking about things that are meaningful to me, but that don't mean it's meaningful to y'all. So, um, and one of the comments I had on my Instagram, I had somebody basically chime in and tell me that your audience will find you. That was encouraging to me, and I guess a lot more people need to hear that. But it seems to me like no matter how much of a following you have, no matter how many people you have subscribed, no matter how many views you get, it's always like an insecurity there. Because even with the people that already have like ad revenue, they got big subscribers, they got the Patreon, like everything is going the way you would think they would want it to go. You see them worried about smaller content creators, smaller channels, people still trying to figure it out. Like, if I was at that point, I wouldn't even be worried about that kind of stuff. Or so I think. I can't wrap my mind around. I already have this huge audience. I'm getting hundreds of thousands of views, even millions. I got thousands of subscribers. Like, I'm sitting pretty off of what I'm making just from sitting down and talking in front of a mic. It's a weird thing. It's like it's almost a jealousy where it's not even necessary. Like, this space is like replacing the radio. So it's all different kind of channels. It's almost a niche wherever you go. So you got to figure out whatever audience it is that you catering to. But I just find that to be such a weird thing to even be worried about. I'm all the way up here, seemingly, and I'm worried about this little channel that's trying to get off the ground. Or, I feel like they should quit and just like leave the space to me because I have it figured out. Like, that's kind of nasty. And it's not just one channel, it's not just one podcast. I've seen that and heard that from a few. And I just noticed that it's a very insecure space. Content creation brings out the insecurity in a lot of people, which I guess is natural, you know. Whatever the content is, when you actually putting the work in, there's certain things you might be looking for. And I guess that's different for all of us, but at the end of the day, it's like you want people to be engaged, and nobody is doing this for free. Maybe at the start you're trying to build, but you actually want to see some kind of profit from what you're doing. Um, some kind of product that lets you know that the work you're putting in is like worth the time. It's worth the effort. So, yeah, I just noticed like this is a very insecure space. You can really see the insecurities all over people. So I don't know. It's not really a critique. It's just something I noticed, and yeah, I go through some of those things myself. So that's why I can't be like. It's not to condemn anybody. It's just some of it is weird to me. It's like I said, I would think when you get to a certain place, you should be worried about the people that already like patronize whatever it is you do. Like, I make sure to thank each and every viewer and each and every subscriber because there are so many options. Like, you don't have to be here. But I don't know, man. I guess that's some of the inner demons people have to work out until they get to the point where it no longer matters. Where you like solely focused on whatever it is you're doing. Um it's the pointing fingers that gets to me. But I mentioned before, I think a lot of people don't realize, or even if you do realize that it's not hitting you, it's not striking you in the way it needs to, that when you point a finger at somebody, you got three pointing back at you. And I don't think that's by coincidence. That's like, maybe that's the writer in me that I see things in a certain way, but I think certain things in life were designed to, visually, or, whatever it is, you can take a lesson from it if you're just paying attention. Um, that's a funny thing to me. It brings me to what I wanted to talk to you about today. It brings me to what I wanted to talk to y'all about today, which was all of these perpetrators. If everybody is out here being done wrong, then like, who are the actual perpetrators? Because it's rare that I actually hear somebody just stand on some filth they've been a part of. I was wrong at this point in my life. I did this wrong. I did that wrong. I actually brought the drama and the trouble into my life. Like, who says that? I know I do, but that's where I get kind of puzzled. It's like there's got to be more people out there, but where are they? Because if you ask anybody their story, for the most part, it's about what people did to them, which I just can't respect. I really don't respect that. Um, Something that I said I wouldn't talk about until I could do it in a proper way. I give you a piece of it. It had to do with my marriage because, funny enough, um, the anniversary of the marriage date was just passed. So I had a couple of things on my mind, and I think the growth that's happened from that day to today, I can really appreciate. I was really able to. I was able to do something that I don't hear a lot of other people do, which is like actually take accountability and responsibility for the things that I did. When you look at your life and everything that you've been through, the one constant in every experience is you. So no matter where you go, like there you are. That's something that I just notice people have a hard time with. So when I bring that up, it was just to say that I got off on the wrong foot from the beginning. Like I was actually late to my own wedding. Not it wasn't crazy. Like I still made it, we still had plenty of time to get it done, but I was like the last one to show up. Everybody else was there and I was just like, okay, is he coming? Cuz I was just dealing with a whole lot of things internally. The night before was interesting, but I had an issue with being honest with myself and that played out over a lot of years before I got to the point where I could actually just say, okay, like enough is enough. But I spoke to issue that a lot of us men have, and especially when it comes to marriage, and that's just capitulating. Now, I found myself in that position where, how about this? Have you ever done something that you knew wasn't the best thing for you in the long run, but you call yourself doing it for the right reason? Like that's like the situation I found myself in, where I wasn't even ready to get married, but I gave myself some reasons why, okay, this is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Even though I sat here and said, I don't want to do this right now, I don't want to do it this way, but then I just started capitulating. I'm going for the stories of, okay, this is the one and only daughter, and I want to throw her a wedding, and, I want to do it like this. And at a certain point, I just stopped putting up a fight. It's kind of funny, like the one thing that I didn't fight about. Well, I put it like this: the one thing I was adamant about through the whole process was is something that I put up a picture in the memories not too long ago, and my cousin was just like, "Whoa!" The picture spoke volumes to him, but it was about attire, is what I was wearing. I was dressed in all black. It's the one thing I was adamant about. I wanted to wear all black, and I said before, it's kind of like this Freudian slip thing where when I talk about my marriage, sometimes I call it my funeral, and it's probably like the worst color that you could wear for a wedding. But this internal battle I was having about it, I think you get like physical representation and manifestation of what's going on internally. It kind of shows. So that's one of the things that I think if anybody was paying attention to, you would have noticed. I was very adamant about I was wearing these colors or this color because everything was black. Everybody else had colors on. I was the only one dressed in all black. And it's because deep down I knew like I wasn't making a good decision for my life, not in the long run. Whatever reasoning I wanted to throw on top of it, I knew I was doing something that wasn't the best for me. And I was blessed, and I've learned a lot of lessons through the years. It's not like I didn't lack for anything that I needed in the immediate. I didn't lack for anything that I needed like immediately. All the immediate needs were met, but like spiritually, I wasn't being fed. There's a lot of things I was missing out on where I think that decision, on top of some others, that decision really kind of um, stunted my growth. It delayed some of the growth that I could have had in my life, and I blame myself for that. I really said I was a coward. I think a lot of us are cowards because, excuse me, I think a lot of us are cowards because when you have a gut feeling, when there's something on the inside of you that's telling you, like red alert, like, no, this is not it. You still go forward with it anyway. And then, like, I noticed a lot of times people get into whatever drama or issues that they in, and they're looking for somebody to blame. Well, I didn't have nobody to blame. I always blame myself. It's just like my issue was just about respect mostly. Outside of that, everything is on me. That's how I look at it. Because when you start off on the wrong foot, like there's nowhere to go from there. Like you don't build the house on a solid foundation, it's bound to crumble. Like eventually. Might look good from the outside, but people don't understand that foundation wasn't built on solid ground. Eventually it will crumble. So that is what it is. Uh so and one of those like physical manifestations or like physical examples I could give you, towards the end of the relationship, we had this time where we were just sitting in the dining room and we had this clock that was up on the wall. It's an analog clock, but it was powered by battery. And you can always hear it just ticking. This clock had been um, ticking for a long time. It was just stuck. The hands, so you had hands on the clock and they were just stuck in the same spot. They didn't move. But you can hear that like the clock is active. It's not dead. Like the hands just didn't move. So I kind of just sat there in the middle of one of our conversations and I just laughed. I pointed to it like, that's us. That's us. And again, I think that's the writer in me to see things in this way. It was like our relationship, that was like the best representation I could find for it. It just stuck out to me at the time. It's like it wasn't dead. It was just stuck in time. The clock is active. You hear it ticking, but it's always on the same time. And I thought that was like a perfect representation of us where you got growth happening individually, but us together, like we just didn't grow past a certain point. We got stuck there and that was it. So that's the kind of stuff I think where like, I don't know if it happens in anybody else's life, but I know for me, there's always examples I can look to if I'm just paying attention, it's speaking to me. Right. Um, yeah, a part of it is like comedic, but at the same time, it's just like it's lessons to be learned. If you're paying attention, it's always there for you. It's just when you willing to pay attention to it. So when I got serious about changes I wanted to make in my life, then I started to see everything change around me. And I guess that leads me to the beef that I've been having with a lot of people in life, people I know and people I don't know, where I know I can be honest enough to say these things. I can't be the only person, but it's so rare to run into a person that's willing to say, like, I made my bed. I made the bed that I've been laying in. Like, that's a very hard thing for people to wrestle with. Like, whether you think it's the truth or not, eventually you got to get to that point. Because, like I said, you are the constant in your life. You could change from person to person, and a lot of people running the themes, just the same story over and over. That's got to be saying something to you. Like, you feel like this person that you're with is not worthy of you. Question: how in the world did you get with that person? What is it about that person that drew them to you? Because it can't be that they just everybody pulled the wool over your eyes. Really? Everybody did you wrong. Everybody did you dirty. You're such a great person and you just can't find anybody that's that great for you, right? Come on now. That's where it's kind of hard, like coming to me for counsel or whatever. Um, because I think a lot of people are going through stuff that I already went through. I can be helpful to a point, but at the same time, like I won't hold your hand, I won't pat you on the back, I won't babysit you. I can have empathy in the moments where I think that is necessary, but for the most part, I think it's really important for people to realize that you are where you are because that's where you put yourself. We all have choices, and all of your choices lead to where you are today. So it's a really hard thing for people to look in the mirror and just accept the choices that they made. Of course, every day you wake up, you have an opportunity to change that, but it's only when you start to change that you'll see life changing around you. Because I think that's the challenge. You always want the other person to change, but you don't see real change in life until you change yourself. That so-called shadow work that everybody is talking about is real. There's a lot of internal work you have to do, but the very first thing you got to do is be honest with yourself. Can't be honest with nobody else if you can't be honest with yourself. That's why I think I see a lot of people spinning in circles. You'll see your life change once you decide to make the changes for you. That's when it starts to look different. That's when you start to see people to point out to you all the changes that they notice, but you won't see a change if you don't actually do the work for yourself. So that's it. That's all I got today. I'm leaving y'all with that. Just a little something to think about. I love you, and I'm out of here.